under Cherry here, my 380 SL, and I'm looking down on the ground and I'm going, oops, what's that? If you recall earlier, I put some cardboard under this car and did a leak test, and everything looked okay, but it's been up on the lift for almost 2 weeks, and that doesn't look very good. When I look real close, it looks like coolant. Uh-oh. So right above that is the engine skid plate, and I don't see anything dripping, but if I look real close, I see a little rust there. See that rust? And if I look kind of right in front of it, it's wet. And I think that's where the coolant is ending up, although the leak is probably not right above that. It's somewhere else in the engine. And how are we going to find the leak? We're going to do a pressure test. To do this test, I want to leave the car up in the air so Ryan can check underneath. I'll get up top here and connect the cap to the coolant reservoir tank, and we'll pump up pressure. Now, once again, this is a conversion of my brake bleeder tank. I've developed a cap which can go on either the top of a radiator or on a reservoir tank, and we can build up pressure and test the system. I'm going to hook up the cap now, and then we're going to pump this up to about 15 psi and see what happens. Now, this is adjustable so that I can get it real tight. Hey Ryan, I think I need a little bit longer ladder here.
We'll get you the big kid ladder.
Okay, I think that's tight enough. All right, I'm going to move this back a little bit, get some leverage. You watch.
From directly underneath.
Okay, I'm sure it's like a roof. You know, it's like any type of leak in your roof of your house, right?
Yeah.
It's never where the leak is showing up. That's not where the leak is. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Especially with
So I don't think the coolant leak's going to be back there by the bell housing. But you take a peek, okay?
Okay. Oh.
I'm coming up on 8 pounds now. Are you seeing anything yet?
Yeah, we got a drip coming down.
Okay, where's the drip coming from?
None of the engine.
Oh, yeah, look at it.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Pretty good drip.
Yeah. Coming from.
You know, isn't that amazing? And we've only got 10 psi in the tank.
Yeah.
So it's forcing the coolant out. It looks like it's somewhere up around the water pump area, right? Yeah, you can see it drip, drip, drip. And it's not coming out of the bottom of the radiator.
It's a little wet there, but.
Little
definitely
wet,
not where
all right?
that's coming from. Oh yeah.
Okay, now it's pouring out. Oh, gee. I guess you want to get a drip pan when you do this, folks. I'm going to go ahead and release the pressure here. This is one of the nice things about our tank. It has a quick pressure release. I guess we weren't adequately prepared. If we would have known it was going to pour out of the engine. So can you understand how important it is to do a pressure test on these old cars? Particularly when you just acquire one. You might think that everything's fine. The problem is you don't know where the coolant is leaking, or if the coolant is leaking, or how it's leaking, because you're out there driving down the road and the car's real hot and maybe it's just dripping out of a very small leak. But when you put some pressure in the system, you're going to find the leak right away. So we lowered the car back down, and now we're trying to find the leak visually. What do you see?
You know, it's not red. Oh, I don't see anything right now. From the top.
Nothing in the water pump or the thermostat housing?
No, nothing painfully obvious up top here.
It looks like the water pump's been replaced.
Yeah, that bolt's new there.
Yeah,
So
okay.
somebody's been in there.
Somebody's been in there. So you can see, you can't find these leaks visually. A lot of times they're just a mystery until you apply good old pressure. So let's get this pressurized again. Now this time we're prepared. We've got a nice big drip pan underneath the car. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to take it up to about 10 pounds. Oh, shoot. There it is. Well, we can hear it.
Yeah, right there.
Look at that.
Hey, I think you might have called that.
Yeah, let's take it up a little further. I'm only at 6 pounds now. Wow.
Yeah, it's just coming right out of that.
Coming out of the radiator hose clamp. So let's just try tightening the clamp up and see what happens. Look at that. You take that away. Oh man, we got bubbles coming out of there. Isn't that interesting?
Oh yeah.
Shoot. You can imagine this problem on a long cross-country trip.
Yeah.
And if you remember, when I pulled this baby home, I said, I'm not going to drive this cross-country until I check it over. And that's a classic example of why you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you'd find that about your second tank of gas, right?
Whoa, why is the engine getting so hot?
Yep.
All right, so go ahead and grab a wrench there, tighten the clamp, and let's see if that does anything.
Okay. All right, let's give this a shot to tighten here. We've got a 7mm.
What?
Oh, look at that. It's taking quite a bit. It's pretty loose. Holy cow.
Oh.
We're just snugging it up. Wow. Yeah, this is in the vicinity of tight.
Yeah,
Definitely not
okay, maybe the mechanic didn't get it tight when they replaced the water pump. That's
Yeah.
what I would suspect. Let's go ahead and check
Yeah.
this one on the radiator too.
It's pretty
That
snug,
one's okay.
but
Let's check these two for the small hose going to the coolant reservoir. So I think the moral of the story is here, not only do you want to do a pressure test, but when you get one of these cars, you might want to go around and check all the hose clamps. Because
Yeah.
this isn't the first time I've seen this.
yeah, you know, and with seeing the evidence that it's been in here recently, you know, that's something that everybody's human mistakes are made, and that's, you know, something simple enough. And if that's all the fix we've got to do, then we're rocking.
Well, let's find
Yeah.
out, okay? What do you think? Hopefully that fixes it. We have enough other work to do today, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be sad if this fixes it.
Okay, there we go. Coming up on 5 pounds.
Looking good so far. All right.
Hold on. Oh, I didn't have the release all the way closed. So when doing this, if you have a good tight cooling system, you should be able to bring this up to 15 pounds. I'm going to stop here at 12 because I'm going to wear myself out here. No. All right, it's at 12 and a half.
Yep.
Now I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit. Not only are we looking for evidence of coolant leaking, we're looking for evidence that this thing will hold pressure. Now it will drop down, you know, maybe a pound or two initially, and then it will stabilize. Of course, there's a possibility it could be leaking out the cap, so you want to make sure the cap is tight. But we're right at 12 psi. It doesn't take long. Within a minute, you're going to see whether or not the pressure is dropping. Now we got to come up with some good coolant. Wow, not budging, Ryan.
Holding strong.
Holding strong at 12 psi.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, wasn't that cool?
That makes me really
Oh
happy.
man, we just not only prevented or diverted, or what do you want to call it?
Yeah, I mean, that could have left us stranded on the side of the road.
That could have fried the engine.
Yeah.
Could have fried the engine, and we fixed it in 10 minutes, right?
Yep. Could have taken way more time.
Yeah, we could have had to replace the water pump. Okay, let's move on to the next job.
Yeah, I think we'll chalk that one up in the
Okay.
win column.
You know, I think you've seen some of those other water pump housings and thermostat housings in the
Yeah.
back there. You've cleaned some up for me. I don't think the problem here is corrosion. It does look like these hoses are new. It looks like the clamps are new. I suspect when they replace the water pump, probably replace the thermostat as well, that somebody just didn't get that clamp tight enough.
Yeah.
So we're going to go underneath too and tighten that one on the bottom of the radiator.
Yep.
And then the next thing I want to do, Ryan, is let's drain a little coolant out of the bottom of the radiator and check for sediment and test the quality of the coolant.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Oh, and this is what's so slick about this is you just release the pressure. Make sure you let all the pressure out before you release the cap. Okay. Some of you might be wondering why this coolant reservoir tank is loose. Anybody want to guess? We won't tell them. We'll let them guess, right?
All right.
Why
yeah.
is this coolant reservoir tank loose? So you can see that this is really slick. I can have a dual purpose now. We're going to test the brake fluid in Cherry here. And if the brake fluid fails the test, we're going to use this same pressure tank to bleed the brakes and flush the brake system with new fluid.
Yep.
Are you impressed?
I am. I mean,
You don't look like it.
well, you think about how else would we have found that without pressurizing the system? You
I know.
It's just even once we knew that there was a leak and you look in there, it's just you can't tell visually until you pressurize the system.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That saves so much money. I mean, you think about if that would have happened, you pull into a garage on the side of the road, they see it leaking out of the thermostat of the water pump, say, well, we got to replace that. I mean, you never know. You want to
Yeah,
hope that
I
that's
know.
not the case, but man, I mean, it's just to be able to see it visually and to have it be something as simple as a hose clamp. I mean, it's a good way to start the day.